Krim coming in with the big raid. Hello all, welcome to the channel. We're currently playing some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, one of my favorite kind of classic style roguelikes. I play a whole bunch of this game. Right now we're trying our very best to make it through with a win with every species in the game, and there are 27 of them, so it's been a bit of a mission for sure, and we've been going on for a while, but it's been going well. We've been having, most importantly, a whole bunch of fun, a heck of a time, and today is definitely a good day because we've been chatting a whole bunch and having a lot of fun with all you lovely folk in chat, so I appreciate that. Sheila is joining the fight, appreciate it. Welcome one and all, and you gotta raid me, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of sending some love this way. I honestly always appreciate raiding your way just for my own entertainment, so it's purely selfish really, but thank you for the thought. I appreciate it a whole lot. And so yeah, hello all, Seraphim, Sonic of course, Ace, who I only recently saw a little bit of the Dark Souls action between you and Krim, but I really appreciate your sense of humor. And Baby Rhino as well, and thanks as well for the followers, or the follows, I guess, for a lot of you newcomers. I appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, welcome. Like I said, we're currently playing some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, trying to play. I keep getting off on tangents left and right here and having some fun, but we also kind of fool around on Wednesdays. We're usually playing whatever comes to mind. I completely blanked for a moment there, embarrassingly enough, but I got there eventually. We're currently playing some Super Auto Pets, so that's also a lot of fun. But yeah, welcome one and all. Of course, you're happy to return the love. Actually, yeah, Krim, since I finally have you here, it's finally time that I can reciprocate one of these lovely raid hugs. I don't know how you do it. You're a much better actor than I am. This is my first time awkwardly hugging myself on camera, but that hug goes out to you, friend, because I appreciate all the love so much that you send our way. It's absolutely heartwarming and uplifting, so thank you for that, one and all here for sure. But okie dokie, as for the game itself, we're currently in a time portal, a special little gauntlet, a challenge mode, as it were, which we did decide to take on. So we've headed in through some portals here, and we have to keep kind of leapfrogging through them all until we get to the end and fight the Minotaur themselves. It's going to be a bit of a nightmare. And this is where we have to make a bit of a secondary decision, because if we head into either this gate or this one, it limits which future gates we'll end up going for. More specifically, if we go left side, we can choose between these three endings. There was this area, which has an eclectic range of monsters, all from some of the weakest to some of the strongest in the game. Moth of Wrath there to berserk them all, get them all hitting like a freaking truck. Doesn't seem great. Oozes, specifically anti-magic Quicksilver oozes. Not great, not what we're really looking for. Slightly better in our current condition here, because we are playing as a Djinni, which means we use our own vitality, our own health to cast our spells, so we don't have to worry quite so much about magic, I guess, reductive things, to put it in the clumsiest way possible. Alternatively, if we head this way, we have a spider-themed area with entropy weavers. No bueno, absolutely no good whatsoever. Death yaks, also quite brutal to face in hand-to-hand, and a bunch of nightmares, or shadows rather, which actually are a bit more feasible, a bit more doable. Of course, this is all kind of weighed against the treasure that is apparent in each area here. There's some fancy ring mail waiting for us over here. I believe this was, yeah, the int +8 stuff. Oh me, oh my. Definitely will start slapping down pretty hard. Also, I should say a quick hi to Brinth as well. You're Torinski. Hello, Brinth. Always nice to have you around. You actually just got gifted a sub a bit ago, so you have access to all the fancy emotes and stuff now. All the lovely emotes that my wife created for me so fantastically. But always just nice to see you in general, regardless of that, of course, Brinth. I appreciate you a whole lot. And hello, Tiffany and Taro. Hello, right back to you. It's also always fantastic to see new faces, which is my affectionate term for the names, of course, that come scrolling across the screen. I always feel weird saying that or referring to you all as faces, but I feel like I get to know you over time, right? And okie dokie, one of these days I'll make a decision. I feel like I've stalled out, but hey, at the end of the day, I very much enjoy talking with all you lovely people, so if the game has to get sacrificed a little bit along the way, so be it. It's all part of the fun. More interested in having a good time and being a little silly at the end of the day. Let's check out what this ring does. Nice resistances across the board. This would actually give us complete resistance to fire and cold. We would have to exchange one of our current rings, and it would most likely be the one that is giving us 4 armor class. So lose out in a bit of standard defensibility in exchange for some more conditional elemental themed resistances. It's a tough call for sure. It's up there in terms of potentially useful things for the future. Last but not least, we'll check out the gloves. Oh my gosh. Evocable blink, fly, not useful. Where do you fly? And int +2. Do we get the ring and the armor? No, they are mutually exclusive, unfortunately, here. But I think I like this glove. We do have to beat Nethack, Necromancer, Hellhole here. So there is that to keep in mind, maybe, just maybe, but I don't hate it. I like the idea at the very least. So we have some Centaur Simulacrums here. That should be all relatively doable. We have IMB, which just is a spell that shoves everybody off of us. Generally worth its cost in health by a long shot, especially with our current regen, so that's awesome. Of course, in standard procedure here, I completely forgot to clear my inventory before coming into this area, so fortunately we have a bunch of garbage that I don't mind throwing on the floor, never to recover again. But otherwise, definitely could have been a frustrating change here. And a bunch of Nethack. Hey friends, what are you all doing here? Well. We'll most likely still go through with this route. I think I do really want those gloves, especially compared to this mostly trash room on the left. Ring of Fire just makes our vulnerability to cold, our innate vulnerability to cold, I should say, that much worse. So it's going to be a no for me, dog. And Strength Potion over here, or Might. Not quite what we're looking for either, so time to face the music. Us versus the Nethack. I am very worried. But we'll draw some of them towards us with our Fulminant Prisms here. And a combination of that and that IMB spell that we mentioned earlier to just make sure we keep them out of our face does work wonders in its own right. And hopefully this Necromancer just dies to this blast. Beautiful. Just as we drew it up. And absolutely fantastic stuff. Managed to make it through in one piece here despite our best efforts to fall. We will pick up these fancy gloves. I like the sound of that. Another Conjuration Staff. Probably not interested. Especially since our current one is already bound to our very soul thanks to our lovely deity Ashinzari here. I'm trying to think. I always label the deities as Ru, who's like the justice, trade-off sacrifice god, the big old scales in the sky. Gozeg is the giant gold coin in the sky. Ashinzari is a tricky one. Like the ruined tombstone in the sky is effectively, or is appropriate for their altar when you see it. But we'll get there eventually. Maybe the great shackles in the sky, since that's something that is evocative of their image. Ash is the giant chain across your ceiling. Okay, yeah, exactly. The great chain in the sky. We got there eventually. Can always rely on chat to help me out with some of the finer parts of life. But we can also see through walls thanks to Ashinzari, and we should actually check. Does this Minotaur have poison resistance? No. So we do have Mephitic Cloud, which can hopefully confuse them before they're able to launch too many javelins our way, because, oh me oh my, I do not... Stop it, sir. Did I miss? No, you don't have poison resistance. What are you doing? Get out of here. Well, we can use Agony, or 67% chance to affect the Minotaur here, and that will half their health, effectively, if we do manage to hit it, which we do eventually, so that is fantastic. And then we'll switch over to some lightning bolt action here to finish the job. Fantastic stuff. And honestly, this is probably for any newcomers who joined along with the raid, with Crim's raid here. This is probably a bad indication of how this game generally goes, because normally there'd be a lot more stupid death happening, a lot more silly mistakes, at least panic, even if we don't go fully to death. A lot of just, oh gosh, what do I do? That's probably a bit more indicative of the average DCSS stream. But hey, we're on a strong one right now, feeling good, feeling pumped, and ready to keep moving forward here. So, with that in mind, I think we're all looted up from the gauntlet, and we'll go back out to the regular dungeon, back to your regularly scheduled programming, and beautiful. I should also mention, for anybody who has never played the game before, that if you're at all interested in what you see here, if you've played any classic dungeon crawlers on your own and haven't heard about this one, it is completely free to download and play, and I would highly recommend checking it out. So many hours of entertainment over the years, been coming back to the game for decades, and has a very consistent update schedule as well. Lots of volunteer devs, completely volunteer, who've done fantastic work in keeping the game current and interesting and changing what we do here in DCSS. So highly recommend giving it a shot if it's something that is up your alley. I definitely enjoy the ever-living crap out of it. Ash is too strong, I'm telling you. I mean, I think you're definitely onto something. 2 Ash runs over the course of my career playing the game here, and both of them have been stupidly powerful. Something to be said for that. Even a complete beginner, Ash beginner like me, is managing to make them pop off in a voracious manner. So that's pretty sweet. But I'm looking at our failure rates. I actually forgot why I opened the screen for a moment, but that's why, failure rates. And then we're gonna wear this heavier shield, and hopefully it doesn't affect anything too badly. Beautiful. And so moving forward, we get slightly better defensive capabilities, which you always love to see. And back on the road again. You're not a beginner, just with Ash, but in general, I feel like, yeah, I'd be sandbagging a little bit if I went with, oh, it's my first time playing the game. Oh, wow, I won. Oh, me, oh, my. What a crazy coincidence. No, not quite. Decades of experience. At the very least, a couple years of consistent playing and winning. Feeling pretty good about my skills on average these days. Less confident on my own mental ability to stay focused and not do something incredibly stupid in the process of figuring everything out, but that's a completely aside thing. At the very least, can't blame the game knowledge itself quite as much as I used to back in the day, right? You're always surprised at how consistent me and Ninth are at winning. Never seen you guys splat. Oh, don't you worry, it's happened many times, and often in the most incredibly avoidable, stupid ways for me. Not for Ninth. Ninth is actually like supernaturally good at this game. Never really makes mistakes and manages to retain that air of focus that I always talk about. I mean, this game, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and if you don't keep paying attention the entire time, you are going to get yourself killed in some spectacular fashion. Something I've proven ultimately times in the past, despite my supposed confidence. But thank you, Shaper, for the compliments. I appreciate it. I think a large part of that also goes out to chat, who does a fantastic job, all of you lovely folk, at making sure that we don't do anything too stupid with ourselves here. You definitely are a good set of checks and balances in order to give us success in the future. And for that, I will always appreciate you. And of course, just for the lovely company and fun times that we have together. More importantly, probably those things. And yeah, Ninth is amazing. Agreed. So now you usually just press O and tab and hope for the best. See, that's the kind of weird mechanic at play there, I guess. Some kind of like strange dichotomy. Is I feel fairly confident at, slow playing, taking my time, making sure we're doing the smart thing whenever we can at the very least. But I am absolutely trash at playing this game quickly. Like, people, especially in chat, I'll occasionally have people coming along being like, oh yeah, I found this really solid set of armor early on in the dungeon, you know, like dungeon level 3 or something like that. For the rest of the game, I just held down tab. And in my head, I'm like, what? How do you manage? I feel like every time I go to just start holding that tab, I end up doing something incredibly stupid and dying in a horrifying way and can never show my face on stream again. So I don't know how they do it. People like you, Svindart. So honestly, I'm in shock and awe of your skills in that department, because I do think that that's just a different skill set that is just as impressive and fun for sure as well. Speedrunning this game is baffling to me. I agree, Eggly. We even tried it a little bit during the last tournament, the .27 release tournament that we participated in. We tried a couple of speedruns right towards the end of the tournament time, and definitely had some trouble, but had fun for sure, at the very least. And yeah, I guess Prince Cosme, you mentioned the 9th beat Rift Wizard first try, and you're still winless after 30 hours. Okay, I heard, I think I was in the stream when 9th mentioned really wanting to win a roguelike on the very first attempt. And that's awesome that they managed to do it. That's incredible. Huge shout out and congrats to 9th Settler here on Twitch. He's definitely one of the better Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup streamers, to say the least. The hold down tab thing only works if you're willing to rack up a lot of deaths to get that gear that makes you strong. You used to do that, but you learned you like winning more. Nice, yeah, and that's what's more important, right? Whatever you enjoy doing in games like this. Because hey, I spent years not even in the slightest going for win conditions in the game, because I didn't know what they even were. And instead, it was just about having fun and being silly and trying to evaporate the corpses of my enemies into fuel for the future. So that's pretty sweet. Your fastest win is like 6.5 hours. I'm curious what my fastest win is. It's probably somewhere in this series, because offline, I mean, it's a bit of a mix. Offline, I think I play slower sometimes because I don't have the pressure to keep things hopping along here, keep things kicking. But on the other hand, I'm also not stopping every few minutes, hands off the keyboard, to just monologue a soliloquy for hours and whatever. But I appreciate it. And yeah, your Shaper is 2 hours and 13 minutes. See, that's awesome. That's super fast in respect to me. And also, Gothic, thank you so much for the hydrate and stretch. I should definitely... Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about how stiff my legs are here. This is one of the rare times that I think I need to do the full stand up and stretch, because oh my, definitely been in a bit of a bind. I appreciate it, keeping me sane, keeping me alive and kicking here. It's only a matter of time before I turn into a dried husk sitting at this computer with the amount of time I sit in this room. Do the same old thing. Hey, 9th. Hello. Thanks for dropping by. We were just talking about you and your incredible skills at the game here. How you're a much better example of how one should actually play the game than I am. And also congrats, by the way, on winning, let's scroll up here. What was it called? Rift Wizard, your first try. I remember hearing that you were very excited to get a victory on your very first attempt through a roguelike, and that's awesome that you managed to do it. That's pretty sweet. So congrats on that win. That's fantastic. Real Bird, hands off the keyboard is best time to interact with your viewers. Oh, and do I ever love interacting with all you lovely folk. It's definitely the whole reason we come down here every week in the first place, is to have some fun and shoot the crap, as it were. Absolutely adore each and every one of you. Rift Wizard is very benevolent if you think long and hard about it. Nice. Yeah, would you recommend checking it out in the future here? So I haven't heard too much about the game myself. I don't actually know how exactly it works. I assumed roguelike based on context and what we were talking about here. Absolutely. Cool. I'll definitely have to take a peek at it in the future. That sounds interesting to me. I also didn't hydrate when Gothic was, again, trying to keep me alive, so thanks again. Sorry for the delay on the response. It feels like the logical next step forward for roguelikes. Oh, cool. So it does a lot of kind of like innovative, interesting things that are branching out and new. It's like doing ziggurats in this game. Ooh, I do like that. Kind of little like challenge rooms that are dense instead of the kind of, I was just saying a moment ago how I always call Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup more of a marathon game, keeping yourself on peak mental condition and paying attention to things. But that sounds, yeah, more like a sprint, which I like the idea of. I feel like that's a bit more conducive to my own style of thinking and playing. Yeah, you fight the whole room and can't escape. That's awesome. I like it. We'll definitely have to give that one a shot sometime, at least take a look at it. Potentially even after we finish the stream today. That'd be pretty sweet. You also have full knowledge, so it's very transparent over like mechanics and the numbers behind the system. Is that what you mean? As for our current game here, I think we'll head back up to Orc. We've cleared through Dungeon. Orc, maybe dipping a little bit into some of our S branch is the way to go here. Again, for anybody who came in with Crim on the raid here and is unfamiliar with the game, the goal of Dungeon Crawl Stone Suit is to go throughout this dungeon, collecting a selection of runes from the different areas. Need a minimum of 3, there's a total of 15. And once you've collected either that minimum or as many as you feel comfortable getting, you have to take all your runes, head down to the deepest part of the dungeon, the levels of Zot itself, collect the Orb of said Zot, and hightail it back the heck out of there with all the Lords of Pandemonium on your heels, and having a heck of a time doing it. That's the basic premise of the game at the very least, even though there's a whole lot of intervening interesting factors to thrown out there amongst that for sure. But yes, extremely transparent, no spoilers or wiki needed. That's awesome. Definitely is a bit of a change from what I'm used to with the majority of these dungeon crawlers, because usually there's a bit of a steep learning curve, to put it generously even. But that's pretty sweet. Definitely like the sound of that. At the very least, something that we'll check out for sure. Okie dokie, our start to Orc here looking pretty smooth. I mean, I was a little bit frightened seeing an Orc knight and a whole army of warriors right when he came down. Not exactly what you want to see first thing in the morning on a trip to Orc, but managed to make through it in one piece, or make it through in one piece, I should say. Fulminant Prism doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Fantastic spell. Bit of a delayed time explosion that we're trying to take advantage of. Very cautious, consistent placement on those sons of guns. Working out pretty well for us here. And you like to call it and crawl roguelikes that you don't, or that don't hate you for playing them. I like that framing device. Definitely agree with it on DCSS. I feel like I'm always trying to nail down, there's like a very certain kind of je ne sais quoi that Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup has, that has just constantly brought me back to playing it over the years here. Because there are a lot of roguelikes, you know, I dabble in, I have a whole lot of fun, I very much enjoy playing them, but I never really come back, especially with the free ones, the sheer variety of free, classic, old school roguelikes like this available in the market. But Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, always coming back to it. Yeah, Nethack is exactly one that I've tried out, I've dabbled, never really drew me in, never really pulled me back in, more specifically, for sure. Maybe it has something to do with your summation there and how you phrase it. I like that. Games that don't hate us when we play them. When it comes to crawl, the better you get at it, the more you can enjoy it. I think that definitely makes sense. And does, oh my gosh, why do I keep blanking? Something caster has some kind of magic. Rift Wizard, there we go. Does Rift Wizard have Ignition or Ozukubus? You wish, Ninth? Don't we all? Well, if only every game in the world had Ozukubus and an Ignition. What a simpler life it would be. Oh my gosh, who keeps stepping into distortion traps? Stop it. Stop that. No. Bad Orc. In fact, okay, no, that is barely in sight. Brain was broken for a second, but it's this trap right here that keeps jaunting us around, yanking us throughout the entirety of the room. Stop that. No. Well, as for the rest of you, let's just throw down some of these Fulminant Prisms that we've been enjoying so much. Blast you all to Kingdom Come. Goodbye. New friends. Goodbye. Buddies of all kinds here. I'll see you around. But in Rift Wizard, you can level up Fireball, which you start the game with, by the way, high enough that it becomes Firestorm, kind of, at least. Love it. A good little metaphor for all of us Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup players as well. A head start in understanding exactly how things function, to say the least. Have I ever won Nethack? No. Like I said, just barely dabbled. I don't even remember. I think that was one that I played. I guess, yeah, it's pretty indicative of what I was saying earlier, that Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup and a bunch of these other kind of free roguelikes that are on the market, I think I discovered them all at the same time, which was, like 2010, 2009, maybe somewhere around there, that I first got into the genre. And at that time I shopped around a bunch and I kind of went all over the place trying out this and that, but since then I think Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup is the only one that I've really come back to with any regularity at the very least. You won it 29 times before burning it out and you haven't won since 2011. Sounds like I got out at the right time. So Ramatheru subscribing with Prime, I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Ramatheru. Also nice to see you around again here. Hope your crawling has been going well, because I think I remember you being one of the fellow dungeon crawlers here. New sub, yeah, I appreciate it. Of course, never any pressure to do so, but all the same, if you have the ability to and do it, then I do appreciate it. I guess I always want to say just as much as all you lovely folk who are just here watching, because honestly, that's a huge thing in its own right, and even if that's all you're able to do to support us along the way, then I appreciate you, and thank you so much for spending your time. I mean, time is money, and I'm sure there are tons of better things you could be doing with it, rather than wasting it with little old me. So thank you all so much for coming along on the journey in its own right. Still very noobish at it, but you've been getting better. Best you did was gain to D11, found a beetle, thought beetles were tiny, boulder beetle was not tiny, and you returned into pace. That's fantastic. Sounds about right. I feel like, so back in the day, if you play on the tiles version, like we're playing here, back before 0.26, I think was the change, a lot of the tiles were a little bit of a red herring. For example, yaks were cute little fluffy sheep. Death yaks were even cute little fluffy sheep. But fortunately, as of those versions and beyond, they finally changed the avatars, the icons, the sprites, whatever you'd like to call them, to be a little bit more indicative of just how scared you should be when coming across any of those monsters. So I definitely understand the sentiment there. Absolutely love it. Wanted to sub, got enough hours of entertaining from me, only seems fair. Well, thank you. Again, yeah, never feel any pressure to do so, but thank you so much for sending hard-earned money and your hard-earned time this way. That's awesome. Boulder beetles require specific tactics, for sure. Yeah, the first time I ran into one was a bit of a frightening situation, for sure, to say the least. Boulder beetles are perfectly capable of killing you, even if you don't underestimate them. In fact, we got pretty close. We had a pair of boulder beetles at our lair entrance that, I mean, we're working in conjugation with, or conjunction? I don't know what word I'm going for there. Working alongside, let's say, some other monsters at our lair entrance, and it was a nightmare situation for sure, even on a character that not only am I fully mentally aware of what to look out for and what the potential outcomes are with boulder beetles, I also was playing on a strong character, and with all that combined, it was still a bit of a rough shot. Also, I kept trying to rest there and just blasting spells, nobody around you, just sacrificing your own life force to do absolutely nothing. Brilliant moves on my part. Absolute genius here. I'm sure this is why you all come to watch us play, right? It's for genius moves like that. Chaos Spawn, please get off my back. Perfect. Managed to take them out just in time. It turns out that being an ant is not, in fact, applied in all situations. Funny that. Ah, yes. Good old Formy pals. Big ol' ant friends. Definitely not the be-all end-all solution. Though, it is surprising. You consider this to be one of the hardest orc ends? Yeah, definitely the Hellgate, right? Is what we're at here. I mean, are there going to be a bunch of orc priests at the end? High orc priests, I should say. Because demons, I feel okay fighting. That's actually right in my wheelhouse here. But high priests, get the heck out. Oh, and it's a pandemonium gate. That makes sense. Which gods haven't I won with? most of them. I feel like it would be quicker to go the opposite way. I think I have one with Ashen Zari, Meklev for sure, Rue very recently, just earlier today, Vehemit for sure, Zin, no, I usually change off them before we get there. Bio, we have Che, definitely, Gozeg, oh heck yeah bud, favorite choice there. Nemlex, no. Sif, yes, very recently on that one as well. Wujian, again, something that we just tried recently and had a lot of fun with. Shining One, yes. Dith, I don't think so, even though I've been really close. Hep, haven't actually won with, only played a couple times. Okwaru, yes. Trog, yes. Zom, yes, actually. That was one that we played in the tournament and was full chaotic nature, as might be expected from a Zom run, but that was a lot of fun. Ellie, no. Kiku, no. Quaslal, definitely yes. Uskaya, surprisingly no. I feel like I've had so many strong runs with Uskaya, but I don't think any of them actually made the cut. And finally, last but not least, Ed, also no for me. But yeah, all the acquirement, eh? I mean, how much money do I have on me? I can afford all of these? Interesting. I mean, they are, for a good reason, called in the... Oh, we can't afford both these. Whoops, I'm stupid. But they are called in the DCSS Circle, Scrolls of Disappointment, so I'm ready for that to be the case here. But let's give it a shot, shall we? Let's read one of these Sons of Guns. Cloak of Preservation? I don't think so. I kind of like what we have going on here. Manual of Stealth? Again, it's kind of hard to be stealthy when you're slinging lightning and thunder is roaring through the entirety of the dungeon. Seems a bit of a mismatch of intentions there. But we could just take gold, and that's enough gold to buy another acquirement scroll. And now we're thinking ahead. Just keep buying acquirement scrolls so that you can afford more acquirement scrolls, which will then, and you get the point, genius plays here. Let's just waste all our money on these two, even though that's potentially a stupid move moving forward. No doubts in my mind. Yay, the run one. Yeah, we enjoyed that. You should try red now before 0.28 so you can have it before and after. That is pretty much why we did like Rue in the first place, because they got a bunch of changes. So I think it's only about time, really, before we try it out, right? We'll just have to have a good necromancer background or something like that. And honestly, if anybody in chat wants to see it, that's usually the quickest way to get us to try something new, because I always enjoy flowing with the whims of chat and having some good fun. So manual throwing is tempting, but let's just go with the money again. Ring of Willpower also potentially up there in the running, but not quite what we're looking for. And finally, oh my gosh, an amulet. We've been waiting, feels like I've waited my whole life for this one night. Oh me, oh my. Manual of Evocations, also very tempting. One of my favorite skills to train, of course. But I think you gotta take the amulet. It's reflection too. Not a great like subset of enchantments besides the reflection itself, because the shielding and reflect, of course, all kind of just wrapped up in the reflection brand, but pretty sweet still. I'll take it. Have to throw out some of the trash in our inventory, which, oh me oh my, is it starting to add up. Have a bunch of that lying around for sure. Perfect. And yeah, they like to acquire a reinforced sense of self-reliance. Ah, that's the spirit. I like it. It's the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that we appreciate here in the dungeon. People who read acquirement to get more acquirement. Genius business moves. Gold is just a reroll, exactly. Spriggan Pain Stabber, I say. Ooh. That could definitely be an option, especially since, I mean, we're obviously going to win first try with our Djinni run here. So, when you put it like that, how could we not? And it'll just be next week, I'm sure. There's no way that we end up hitting a hard wall at some point and making ourselves look like a complete and utter fool. That doesn't sound like me. Nah. Me? Make mistakes? Oh my gosh, I'm doing the thing again. Oh me oh my, just casting spells on the slot, feeding all my blood force into doing absolutely nothing. It's genius moves like that keep us coming to the stream here, I'm sure, right? Absolutely brilliant. I'm just on a whole nother dimension of genius plays here. Little do you know that it's all a ploy and a plan calculated to make our future that much stronger, of course. red is a hard carry god, so you could use it to get an awful species out of the way. Ooh, interesting. New red is not so hard carry. Good to know. So definitely a nerf. I remember some of the points that you mentioned when I was on your stream the other day, Ninth, and you were trying out the trunk version of your red, the new one. So definitely we'll have to try it at some point in the future. So we just continually sling lightning bolts down this alley. This is our life now. For once and forever. Fantastic. I mean, it is what it is, and we'll make do. Ooh, hello, demon spawn. My good friends. Oh my gosh. Bangs, get off my forehead, please. Always get... For some reason, just when I stream, I can sit here all day with my headphones on, not paying attention whatsoever. But as soon as I stream, I get these little, like, loose bits that start tickling my forehead at the most inopportune of moments. Good stuff. Fantastic stuff. Let's put down a fulminant prism to blast these buddies to Kingdom Come. And definitely need to kill this Orc High Priest as soon as possible. There you go. It's that easy, folks. Just blast them. So then I started blasting. Yes, that character was way more favored by the floor god than red. Yeah. It's nice when that works out though, right? You need some kind of blessing somewhere along the line. Hey, if you can be flexible and take it wherever it's given, that's all the game really asks of us. Okay, books, not interesting to me. I can't read as a genie, but faintly, yes, that's exactly what that says. A faintly glowing chainmail. We're just about at the cusp of when we might switch off of our current armor. We have an intelligence +8 bit of armor in our inventory that we've been holding on to for just such an occasion. Maybe, just maybe, this chainmail will blow all of that out of the water. It would be nice. It would be pretty sweet. It'd be so cool. Imagine how cool and funny that would be, chainmail. DCSS, you'd have so many friends if you just gave me good stuff. Not quite there. +8, pretty sweet enchantment for an artifact here, but slow, cold vulnerability. Nah, already got that. Thanks, friend. Strength +6. Not quite making the cut. I think that in +8 is going to be our go-to in the future. In fact, do we want to potentially get on that track now? I feel like I've been in a kind of stasis mode over the last little while, just because we have had such a solid run. I've been so confident for the most part that I'm not even thinking about the future here, which is bad. Not how I'd recommend playing this game. Thinking about the future is usually a good idea. In fact, not even in this game, but even in real life. I think probably thinking even a moment into the future is probably prudent. Oh right, we didn't even curse this troll armor yet. Oh, so I can just switch my armor, you're saying? Oh me, oh my. What spell power are we at now? 67? 3d28, 1d91 damage on our lightning bolt. Ooh boy. Now that will bring the thunder. And in fact, let's just blast everything out of our very sight for the next little bit here, shall we? That sounds like a good strategy. Even a lowly orc, I'm sorry friend, get blasted. Little baby orc, no remorse, no regrets. Beautiful stuff. Now here's where we immediately sprinted away when we saw these buddies, but it was mostly due to the fact that there was this alarm trap between us and our first enemy. Not conducive to a bright and successful future at the very least. But I will gladly take it, and we're doing much better from this angle. Again, not making most efficient use of our vitality here, blasting these buddies one at a time with a bolt spell, but sometimes you just got it. It's all about the style points at the end of the day. The rule of cool supersedes all, at the very least. Okie dokie. Work is clear. Honestly went way smoother than I expected. I was ready for this to be where it all started crumbling down around us, but not yet. I'm sure it's coming, but not yet. So that's good. That's nice. And we're definitely starting to approach a little bit closer to the end of our evening here. So let's think about maybe doing one last branch to send it off for the night, shall we? Again, just always trying to temper myself a little bit. I know that I have a tendency to push further than I should, brain is starting to get a little foggy. I'm starting to slip in terms of my decision making, and that's when the game decides to strike and throw all of the worst shenanigans at us, of course. So know thyself and make sure that we're keeping that in mind at the very least. Let's try something else, shall we? So it's between Shoals and Spider for our finale. I guess Shaper also mentions Layer 6. We did never finish the very end of Lair. So let's actually, let's, take a quick trip, as it were. Just a bit of a merry jaunt down this way. Can at least take a peek and see what we're dealing with. See what we are working with. And hopefully, ideally, should be a little bit of a, if not a cakewalk, because I do not feel willing to throw that level of confidence after this, but it should at least be comfortable for us at this stage in the game, so that would be nice. We also have to keep in mind that we no longer have really good health regeneration from our troll leather armor, so we do have to be slightly more cognizant and aware of how many spells we're casting and how much of our blood we're using up. Because of course, not only does it fuel our spells, it also fuels our, just being alive each and every minute of the day. So that seems important. Seems very crucial. If you yell lightning bolt while casting, it actually increases your spell power guaranteed. I hit you with my special, most ultimate ability, lightning bolt. I'm sure. Lightning bolt. Holy crap, it just obliterated that Komodo dragon. You're onto something, Eggly. Staying alive? That seems like some min-maxing nonsense that you just don't truck with. Yeah, I'm pretty hardcore in this game. I'll try and stay alive, the madman. I respect it, honestly, Ramu. I respect it very much so. You got your priorities sorted out in life. Staying alive, that's some alpha crap, and you're on that Sigma grind set. You know what's up. Okay, and Ashen's offers us another vision of the future, another curse for our consideration here. Introspection, of course, being exactly what we're generally looking for. Benefiting both in our total health pool for said vitality, as well as our magic ability to actually cast things. And cunning, again, stealth, miss me, but dodging, seems pretty nice. Let's curse something, shall we? Question becomes, do we want to curse the ring mail? Not yet. I'm not completely dead set on keeping that around for the rest of our lives here. Kite Shield is actually kind of tempting. Sure, we won't be able to enchant it anymore. I mean, we probably don't really want to. Hopefully we find a better one. But this is only, again, cunning is only half effective. Because stealth, man, big mez on that. I think I've convinced myself, even if it's not the right decision. Jeez. Perfect time on random hiccups and burps. Sorry about that. But the more you die, the more you get to try cool new builds. Totally a big brain choice, and not at all abject failure. I love it. That's the type of silver lining positive mindset that we need in this world. I feel like so often I'm just down on myself for losing, but hey. Not only, I mean, my usual go-to is you're learning something. Isn't learning cool and fun? But not only are we learning something, it just means we can go on to something else fun, and that's incredible. It's all about framing devices, right? You can make anything sound brilliant or stupid. Using just that, of course. And Reflect is so good in Shoals. I agree with you there. Definitely, I mean, not even just in Shoals. Regardless of what might be optimal, I feel like I will wear Reflection almost anytime it's offered to me because I just love it. There's nothing quite so satisfying as launching a Cyclops giant boulder right back at their face and seeing it completely obliterate your new friend there. Don't mind if I do, game. Don't mind if I do. Sounds great. But we reach the end of Lair here. We get this Death Yak Cattle Plebis combo, Wombo combo vault. Nothing to sneeze at, but also nothing to be really scared of at this point. It's always nice coming back to areas a bit later on than when you'd normally come across them. Fantastic stuff. Ooh, hello, my Olifant friend. Let's maybe be slightly cautious with you. Don't actually know what to expect, besides the fact that Lightning Bolt is just going to absolutely obliterate you, much like it does each and everyone else that enters our sightline. Love to see it.